right, this is 3.3. I thought I'd just do 21, 22, 23, and 24 from the homework. 21 says match the equation with its graph. The equation is just x plus 7 equals 0. So to be able to graph an equation, I either want to set it equal to y. In this case, we have no y, so I'm going to set it equal to the other variable, which is x. So I want x plus 7 equals 0 to be x equals and everything else to be on the other side of that equal sign. So x plus 7 equals 0. I'm just going to subtract the 7. Anything I do to this side, I have to do to this side. X is -7. Remember, when your equation has a y in it, it will cross the y-axis. When your equation has an x in it, it will cross the x-axis. If you have an equation with an x and a y, it will cross both the x and the y-axis. So here we have x equals -7. It's only going to cross the x-axis. For this equation, x is -7. I think this is counting by twos based on how close that is to the line. -2, -4, -6, -7. So this is the point -7, 0. Up here would be the point -7, 10. In both of those cases, your x is equal to -7. So I'm going to say the answer is A, because there is no y, so it's only going to cross the x-axis, and it's only going to cross the x-axis at x equals -7. So the entire line is going to be x equals -7. No matter what your y is, your x will be -7. Number 22 asks us to plot the intercepts to graph the equation. My equation is x plus 5y equals 5. So that was a pretty simple one. There was one step, and then we just knew that x is -7, so we found -7 on the x-axis. Here, we're doing the same thing. It was not set equal to x or to y, but if possible, we want to set it equal to y. So now we have x plus 5y equals 5. I'm going to move the x over so that we have y alone. So those cancel out. Now it's 5y equals -x plus 5. I am going to divide all of that by 5. Y equals -1/5 x plus 1. Good, because -x over 5 is the same as -1 over 5 times x. That is the same as -x over 5. Those are the same. And 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now, I know that y equals -1/5 x plus 1 is in the form y equals mx plus b, where b is my y-intercept and m is my slope. So here, my slope is, take the negative sign with it, -1/5. Okay? My y-intercept is a +1. That means my y-intercept is the point 0 on the x, +1 on the y. Good? We find that point 0 on the x, so I don't move left or right, 1 on y. That is the point 0, 1. That is my y-intercept. My slope is now -1 over 5. That means I can go, I'll write it a different way. 1 will be purple and 5 will be black. Good? And it's -1/5. That means I can go negative on the y, because this is -y, positive x, -x. So I can either go -1 on the y, +5 on the x. And you can do it again, -1, +5. Or you can say it's +1 on the x, -1 on the y. Sorry. +1 on the x, -1 on the y. The negative can go with the top or the bottom of the fraction. Either way, you have the same line. It's just, did you draw the point here or did you draw the point here? If they ask for the intercepts, that always means you need to draw this line and this line to make your line. If they ask for intercepts and you have the correct line, but you choose you choose positive 10, negative 1, and negative 10, positive 4 as your 2 points, they're gonna say it's wrong because you didn't find the intercepts. So the intercepts are where it crosses X and Y. You want to make those the 2 points you use in my math lab. Good. So here's my line. And the 2 points I'm going to use to graph it in my math lab are this one and this one, because it has to be the intercepts. Plot the intercepts. Here it does not ask us to use the intercepts. You can use anything, okay? But we're starting with the same method. We have to get y alone on the left side. So it's 2x plus 3y equals 12. Subtract the 2x first. When you're solving for a variable, you want to subtract and then add. So it's negative 2x plus 12, because I like it in mx plus b. So I'm going to put x in front of the constant. And that y still has a 3 being multiplied by it, okay? That means I'm going to take that divided by 3 so that y is alone. Anything I do to this side, I have to do to this side. That has been canceled. I have y equals negative 2/3. So just like the last problem, I'm going to take that out in front, times x. 12 divided by 3 is actually the number 4, because 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, so now in y equals mx plus b, my m or my slope is negative 2/3, and my b or my y-intercept is 0, positive 4. Okay, because your b is just your y-intercept, it's just the number 1, but it crosses the y, that means it crosses the y at 1. Here it's going to cross the y at 4. So that's the point 0, 4. Okay. My slope is negative 2/3. So again, we're going to go down. It's a negative slope. So you're going down. If it was a positive slope, that's a positive slope. Anything in that direction is called a negative slope. Okay. So 0, 4, negative 2/3. That means I can go down on the y, positive on the x, or I can go positive on the y, negative on the x. Sorry, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4. I counted too many on that side. It's so hard to look at these, right? Or are my eyes just old? Okay, down to 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ah, my eyes are just old. I apologize. All right. Or my contact. All right, so I feel like I should explain that again. We started at 0, 4. You can go down 2 on the y, positive 3 on the x, or you can go up 2 on the y, negative 3 on the x. Either way, you get the same line if you actually do it correctly. Good, so that is the line of 2x plus 3y equals 12. 24 asks us again to plot the intercepts. X plus 4y is negative 4. I'm going to move that x over, so subtract x from both sides. 4y equals negative x minus 4. Now I'm going to divide by 4. Y equals negative 1/4 x, because that's x over 4. So I'm going to move the x over here, replace it with a 1, 1/4. Negative x over 4 is the same as negative 1/4 times x, because we're taking x, we're dividing it by 4. Here we're taking x, multiplying it by 1, dividing it by 4. Also the negative. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 just becomes a negative 1. So my final answer is y equals negative 1/4 x minus 1. My slope, remember, is that number right next to x, so my slope is -1/4. And my y-intercept, we call it b, is 0 on my x. I did not move anywhere on my x, and I'm going to start at -1 on my y. -1 means it crosses y at -1, so that's the point 0, -1. Good. My slope is now -1, +4, or +1, -4. Nailed it that time. Much better. Feeling much better about that one. Good. So that's my line. And finally, here it says 8 equals 3x minus y. Y is on this side. You can either move the 3x over and then make the y positive, or you can move y over and then move x back, 8 back over, whatever you would like to do. I'm going to move y. So now I have y plus 8 equals 3x. Good. I moved y because I don't like changing signs. There's more opportunity to make mistakes changing signs than just changing where y is. So I canceled y here, did the same over here. So now it's just a positive on this side. I'll subtract the 8, subtract the 8. Also, if I do this all in one step, I tend to make mistakes. So I know it's like long-winded to do each of those separately, but I make fewer mistakes that way. All right, now if we're looking at y equals mx plus b, that means my m is 3, my b is 0, -8. Okay, so luckily they gave us a graph with a different numbering system so I can find -8. Usually a clue that you've done it right. So at 0, -8, and then my slope is just 3. Remember that the number 3 can also be written as 3 over +1. So that means I go up 3 over +1. Up 3 over +1. Good. You can also go down 3, -1, down 3, -1, because -3 divided by -1 also gives me a +3. +3 divided by +1 gives me a 3, and -3 divided by -1 gives me a 3. So either of those is a fine direction when you're deciding how to graph it. And here I know that my slope was positive and my line is positive, so that's good.